Hi, welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. Doing a What's in My Camera Bag 2015 update because a lot's changed, and I will do reviews on some of the new equipment I've got following this, but I thought this would be a good way to introduce my new kit. So we'll start off as always with the bag. You may know from my previous videos that I had a low pro slingshot 100, I think it was the smallest one they do, and that was fine, but it just didn't quite suit. So I've gone again for a tiny bag because the idea is to keep my kit small, and this is, you know, the complete package. And this is the low pro again, the Micro Tracker 100, and I picked this one up second hand off eBay in good condition for £5 plus a bit of postage, so they're not expensive. So you can chop and change and, you know, sell your old ones on or whatever. But this one hasn't got the waterproof cover, but to be honest, they're quite weather resistant anyway, and I've got a problem with that. And it's not particularly bigger, it's just a better designed shape for what I need. So I'll start off at the front. There's a little pouch at the front which you can obviously put stuff in during the day. There's a zipped compartment at the front which I keep my camera strap in, and that's there. I've got like a little white card in there, and just odd bits and bobs, mounting plates and cloths and things like that in there. And also that's big enough, although it's a small pocket, it's the whole front of the bag, so that's you can get an iPad, probably a full-size iPad in there actually, but I put my iPad mini in that front compartment, so that works out quite nice. There's a couple of extra things on the side that you can add, like low pro bags on or clip things on or whatever, and I've taken off the strap that goes around the your belly. It doesn't need it, just got the normal straps to put it onto your bag, and as you can see, it's a tiny little bag. So if we just open it up here and get straight into the main compartment, there's, as always with low pro, you've got two compartments here. I've got batteries in one, SD cards in the other, keep it fairly straightforward. And you may already have noticed the difference in some of the camera equipment inside. So what I now have is, I'll just go through it quickly, an Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II, an Olympus 40-150 f2.8 Pro lens with the 1.4 teleconverter. I've got the Panasonic Lumix X series 45-175 lens, which that's an f4 to 5.6. I've got the Panasonic Lumix 12-35, actually I'll get it out as I'm doing it, f2.8 Pro lens. With that, I've got the Olympus 25mm 1.8, the Olympus 45mm 1.8. I've got a Panasonic Lumix Gh4 body. And obviously all these lenses fit both cameras. That's the 1.4 teleconverter. This is the flash for the OMD M5 Mark II, dinky little thing, and then you've got the camera itself with the lens, and I've also got the battery grip, the extra grip and the battery grip on the EM5 Mark II, and obviously the, as I said, the 40-150 Pro lens. So there you go, and that all fits quite nicely in the bag. It's heavier because of mainly because of that lens, but it's not heavy compared to what I used to carry around. I'd happily carry that all around all day long, and it also gives me choices. I've got plenty of other bags if I'm just going out for a day and I think all I need is my Gh4, the 12-35 and the 45-175. You know, you could pretty much do anything with that. That's a great range covered there. Or I could just take out the Gh4 with the 25mm 1.8 lens, so I can mix and match and do whatever. And obviously I can strip down the OMD EM5 to its bare bones. It's a, you know, it's a very small camera. It's not much bigger than the Gh4, to be fair. So I can take all the gubbins off, stick the 25mm 1.8 on that, and have a, you know, a tiny little camera. I do now and again shoot with two cameras, and I have got another strap around here somewhere which is a double strap, and I can have a telephoto lens on one and perhaps a video lens or a wider angle lens on the other one. So the system itself all works really well, really pleased with it. Obviously you'll note that I no longer have the Panasonic Lumix Gh4. I actually sold that to fund this lens because I wanted this lens. I had the Panasonic 35 to 100 2.8 Pro lens, which is a stunning lens. It's just not long enough for what I want, and on Micro Four Thirds, to enable you to really blow out the background, you need not only a wide aperture, but you need a telephoto as well, and that makes it so much easier to blow the background out. I mean, you can even do it on this 45 to 175 at 5.6. It's people that say you can't get shallow depth of field with Micro Four Thirds. Generally, I don't think we particularly know what they're talking about. I've proved that you can do that. With a lot of these lenses, the 45mm 1.8, you can get shallow depth of field. You can get shallow depth of field with that lens. Not so much with the 12 to 35, and it is limited. And people often compare it. You don't get as shallow a depth of field to full frame. And my first question always is, well, do you shoot full frame? And they generally go, no, crop sensor. So the difference isn't as big as people sort of tend to make out. It's certainly, you don't need to shy away from it. I've got some of the best pictures I've ever taken recently with this kind of kit, and the video with the image stabilisation in this EM5 is fantastic, and the GX7 with the stabilisation in this Panasonic, again, you get some fantastic video as well. So all in all, I am very pleased with it. So yeah, the Gh4 Panasonic, I loved it. I loved the handling. I needed the image stabilisation built into the body. That's the only reason I've sold it. If they brought out a Gh5 with built-in image stabilisation, then, you know, will I go back? Probably, because I don't particularly like the handling of the EM5 Mark II. It's a disaster, to be honest, the way they've set it up. The EM1 was miles better, no problems with that at all, but this EM5 is it's just very difficult to set it up how I want to shoot, and the things that I think are the buttons and the access that you need all the time and you're using on a regular basis, you're not able to set it up like that, whereas you've got a dedicated HDR button and a dedicated button for changing the shadow and highlights, and it's, you know, crap things that I'm never going to use, to be fair. I mean, I might use the HDR button now and again, but it's very unlikely, and you can change it to other things, but not the things that I want. So, but I'm doing a separate review on that anyway, so I digress a bit. But ultimately, as I say, this is the kit. That's the little flash that comes with it. Dinky little thing that is, proper little miniature flash. Works really well. And as I said, in there, that's the 1.4 teleconverter for that lens, which makes it basically a 420mm f4 lens, which is fantastic. Again, for shallow depth of field, it's brilliant. You can destroy the background completely in the right circumstances, completely blow out the background, and get those lovely looking pictures where your subject is really well isolated. And when I do the reviews, separate reviews on the camera and the lens, I will throw up photos to prove and to show you that that is possible. So there you go, all change again. And as I said when I bought the Gh4, it was a toss-up between the Gh4 and the EM1. The Gh4 won out because of the video features, but they've now put the video features that I need on the EM5, and one of the main things is the flippy screen, you know, things like that. I can't live without that now. That's fantastic. And yeah, so I was hesitant to do the change, but because I so badly wanted that lens and the only way I could get it stabilised was an Olympus body, I thought, why not sell the Gh4, get the M5 Mark II. You might also notice the other lens I've actually sold was probably one of the best lenses I've ever owned, which I know sounds silly, but the 75mm 1.8 lens. And I sold that to also fund this. And the main reason I sold that was because when I did a side-by-side comparison with this lens and the 75 1.8, the look of the image I felt was nicer with this lens, and certainly more contrast and saturation with this lens. It was quite bizarre how much difference it was. Not as sharp, but this is so sharp it's not worth worrying about. So that 75mm range I've got covered perfectly well on this. Would I like the 75mm 1.8? Yeah, I'll probably get it again at some point in the future, but it was a case of I can't have that and this at the moment because of funds. So I decided to sell the 75 1.8, sell the GH4 and get this, and I'm absolutely happy that I've done it. I'm well chuffed. I did think about selling other bits and bobs, but this setup now I've got pretty much anything covered. And also the other reason I was happy to sell the 75 1.8 was because I've got this, which is the 45 1.8, so that's equivalent to a 90mm 1.8 lens, and that is great for portraits, and it does everything the 75mm 1.8 can do, just not quite with the same reach, but it sort of is, I'd say, like 90% of the lens for a fraction of the cost. You know, it's not worth me selling that one on for the money you get for it. So, and as I say, this as a kit, this is working perfectly for me at the moment. I can't say that I won't change, because there's two things on the horizon that I think may interest me, and one is potentially if Panasonic start putting image stabilisation in the GH series, and also I'm guessing because the EM5 Mark II is trumping the EM1 at the moment in a lot of ways, I'm thinking that there is also going to be an EM1 Mark II on the horizon. So I'm thinking if the EM1 Mark II has a flip out screen and all the features of this but is better handling and faster, I would probably go for a EM1 and an EM5, both Mark II versions would be my kit, and I would possibly sell on the Panasonic Gh7. I've still got the Panasonic Gh3 that I'm recording on now, and that is a fantastic camera. Just got the 14 to 140 lens on it. As a one-stop shop, that's a fantastic kit. Take out with you the 20mm 1.7. You've got pretty much everything covered with that little package as well, and that works absolutely fantastic. So there you go. This has been GRVO TV with an update on a What's in My Camera Bag 2015, and I'll see you soon for some more reviews, specifically on the EM5 Mark II and the Olympus 40 to 150 2.8 Pro lens. I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.